Okay, hey leaders, this is your first installment of the little weekly leader equipping video. I'm really hoping this will be something that can give you some quick information that will help you lead your groups better and connect with your women each week. Welcome to Sundays in my office. I'm ready for football season. You can see I've got my Cowboys shirt on. We're going to be cheering for them on Sunday Night Football. So sorry, Broncos fans, but this is my first allegiance, but I will cheer for the Broncos tomorrow. So anyway, okay, huge encouragement. I just wanted to thank you all for all of your work and just loving your women and warmly welcoming them last week. Some comments I heard that I just wanted to let you know. One girl walked out. She has 3 little kids, and she said, I have needed this all summer. This just felt like a breath of fresh air. Yay! Another woman who's recently moved here from out of state said she felt like this is a place she could be at home. And the cool part is she even has a friend that is in the study that's not in her group. And she's like, I think this is going to be a great way to connect with women throughout the study. So that is humongous. I love that. What else? Oh yeah, one other woman said, I just love the community feel here. So as we talked about, small groups are just the glue that holds that together. You're sharing that you started, you're getting to know you. That was that feel. So thank you so much for just being present to those women and making it a great place. Right now, don't quote me on this, but I think we have like 91 women registered in the morning and 94 in the evening. I just get chills thinking about God bringing all these women and entrusting them to us. So yes, they're everywhere. We have lots of them, and there's a lot of things in flux because of that. But I just know that it's God's goodness and that they are hungry for His word and for connection. So thank you. Okay, I'm looking at my list here. Thank you guys so much. You've done an awesome job letting me know who is and who isn't coming. We had some people even sign up on accident or sign up for the wrong AM or PM. So there's been a lot of shuffling. So when you let me know that someone isn't coming back or wants to be added, that's a huge help because at this point we're probably not going to open new groups, but we're going to find places in the groups that exist and plug them in. So you still might be getting a new woman or two if you have space. So that's what I'm kind of trying to keep tabs on is how much space we have. So thank you for letting me know that. Okay, another thing. Speaking of largish sized groups, some of you asked the question if your group could meet in a different location around the church. Maybe it's too loud in the room or you're just spilling out from the table or whatever. And the answer to that is yes, that's totally fine. Both morning and evening have kind of some limitations based on what other groups are using other places. Places you can pretty much always go, though, are the sanctuary or the auditorium. You can kind of circle up some chairs and just have women meet in there. A couple groups did that last year, and it worked really well. It was quieter, and you just throw the chairs back, no biggie. The other one is depending on the noise level, the lobby can be okay. The only thing that's a little tricky about that sometimes is it sounds funny, but it's kind of far. So trying to get everyone down there, have time to share, and back in time for the teaching, and then back for the conversation card time might take a little time. So just see what you think. But I think the auditorium is a safe bet. We could even have 2 or 3 groups in there on opposite ends, and it would be no big deal. So if that would work for you, let me know. The next thing, okay, this is the first week that you're going to get to go through your lesson. So go through, like we kind of talked about in the leader training, and you're going to pick out 2 or 3 maybe questions each day. I think I showed you how I highlighted mine. I picked some that have facts so we know what's going on, and then maybe another that's more thought based, and then another that's like life application based. That way you get kind of a good mix. Remember, some women love to answer the factual questions because they might not be ready to share their feelings yet. So if they just have something they can chime in on that's kind of out of the text, that's awesome. Other women love to jump in and share, but they really might not have read as much in the facts, so they're kind of gleaning that from the other women. So it is important to cover those factual questions just here and there at least, so that the women who are wanting to still connect will know what's going on in the passage. The questions on the first page, page 4 of our lesson, are great. It just gives a great overview. What sections interested you most? What questions did you have? Things like that. What was confusing? Just briefly go through those. I think you have about 35 minutes in your group. And then, like I said, pick some out, but you always want to land in that wrap-up section. I think that's going to be a great place when you are kind of watching the time and you have, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes left. I would start saying, hey, let's head to this wrap up section so that we can cover a little bit of everything and get our big takeaways before the teaching. She'll ask you some questions about the themes, and then we love that question. Knowing God is blank shows me that I am blank, and kind of encourage everyone to chime in on that one. And maybe everyone won't be ready the first week, but you could set expectations and say, hey, and we'll be doing questions like this every week. So I know you might not be ready today, but just know it's coming for you next week. So as you're reading the lesson, if you don't get to anything else, think about this one and think about what God has showed you. So hopefully you'll be able to encourage your women that way. Another thing to remember is that you did get a leader packet of leader notes. I stuck mine in the back of my notebook. So you might want to look back there just to see the factual answers. She covers those in case people have questions. And the other thing that she has at the top is an introductory question for every week. So maybe the first 5 minutes of your group time, you could ask that question to kind of get them all warmed up again. If you have other questions you want to ask, please be my guest, but these are here if you have nothing else. Like the one this week says, which person in your family are you most like, and what similarities do you share? So that's kind of a fun one that just gets them talking and sharing kind of on a more surface level before we dig a little bit deeper. I think questions like that are really valuable, and they help you get to know each other, right? There's a lot of layers there. Be listening for their prayer requests throughout the time. Remember, we talked about that. Be listening to hear what's on their hearts, to the deeper things, so that when it comes time for prayer, it's not a completely separate list of questions, but that it's flowed out of what has been shared. So I'm really excited to jump in this week on Joshua chapter 1. It's going to be great. We're going to talk about how God prepares Joshua, and then Joshua prepares the people, and how all of God's how all of God's preparations for us are purposeful. So we're going to tease that theme out. As always, if you guys have questions, let me know. I would love to answer them if I can. Help each other as leaders, and we are so excited to gather back together this week. Take care.